If you've ever created a design you loved, listed it with high hopes, and then sat there wondering why the sales aren't coming, you are not alone. I've sold over $2 million worth of merchandise on Etsy. And before that, I was a teacher. I actually tripled my income by building a print-on-demand shop from scratch right here on Etsy. And now I help other sellers do the same. In this video, I'm reviewing real Etsy listings from members in my online community, the Learn and Earn Academy. I'll show you what's working and what might be holding some of these sellers back, even if their designs look amazing. From small mock-up tweaks to big mindset shifts, we're breaking it all down so you can finally start turning browsers into buyers and get off that wonder loop for good. Let's jump in. First up, we've got Ashlin's design. A big thank you to Ashlin. Ashlin has a teacher shirt here, and some things that are really working well here is she did custom personalized names. This is a great way to stand out, especially in the teacher niche. Helping little minds grow is a rock solid phrase to put on her teacher shirt. This is a warm, positive message that has sold really well in the teacher niche. Florals also do really well, so really nice that she's using this floral type of design. So let's jump into some things that Ashlin should keep in mind when she continues to add to this niche and when she continues to monitor this listing and wondering how likely it is to take off for her. So the first thing I want to address, and I'll address it in detail now, and then we're going to kind of revisit, or I'll remind you that this is also a possible variable in some of the other designs or listings that were submitted for this video, but I'll dig into it right now. I am filming this in June. Right now, the teacher niche takes a dive. It is too late to sell the shirts to the teachers who are looking for last day of school shirts, and it's a little too early for selling lots of back to school shirts. And Ashlin's really targeting that back to school shopper who wants to add something to their wardrobe for the school year or possibly for the first day of school. Shirts that have the teacher's name on them do really well when the teachers are shopping for their back to school shirts. So something that Ashlin should keep in mind is that this listing might not really get much traction or have a chance to get much traction until we're like getting into July, maybe mid-July, even to mid-August, because that's kind of when it starts to die down, mid-August. I did pop into Ashlin's shop, and I have noticed that she is adding regularly to the teacher niche. We're actually doing a teacher challenge at the time I'm filming this over in the Learn and Earn Academy, my online membership, and it does look like this is the first year that Ashlin is trying to get in on the back to school teacher shirts and just in teacher shirts in general. And in my experience, every time I have tried a new big niche like this, it has taken me some elbow grease to really get in there. When I got into family Christmas shirts, when I got into back to school teacher shirts, all of these niches, I didn't start making sales until the spike happens for shoppers. So for back to school teacher shirts, that's going to be mid to late July where this spike really happens. And so she might not see any traction until then. People that already have traction in the back to school teacher niche are the ones that are more likely to start getting sales earlier in the season. So let's say in June and maybe early July. So think about that for your listings and for the niches that you're working in. One more example of this would be Christmas shirts. When I got into Christmas shirts, I did really well with family Christmas shirts, but I started adding early to that niche and I didn't start doing well in it until close to Black Friday. So it took me elbow grease and time to get in there, and I had to wait for that spike in customers. And by the time that spike came, because I started early, I had a really nice showing of listings in that niche. And I did have one wildly take off my first year, and then a couple others that did nicely for me. And so that really adds up for the momentum, the overall momentum your shop is getting. So this is something that's not really design related that Ashlin can keep in mind, but it's something that I think all Etsy sellers in their first year or two, depending on how aggressively they're listing, has to keep in mind, or even seasoned sellers that are getting into new niches. So let's address some other things. So Ashlin is really feeling confident as she continues to add to the teacher niche moving forward. Some things I noticed really quickly about this is that there's no quickly identifiable elements in this design that are making us recognize it as a teacher shirt. It's all florals. The front pocket design with just Mrs. Smith and a floral might not clearly read, teacher to that teacher who is scrolling in the search results. They're seeing a lot of other items in their search results that have bows that look like pencils, that have other teachery elements. On Etsy, shoppers are on there and they're quickly scrolling through their search results. If your thumbnail doesn't scream the niche that they're shopping in, it's very easy for them to kind of pass it over and for other things to be catching their eye. So the solution in this one is a really pretty floral with some pretty colors in it. So Ashlin might be able to find a way to incorporate a bow that looks like the shape of a pencil, which is very popular in the teacher niche, and to pull in and make it have that color scheme that matches the colors in her design already. Another way that pops out at me as an idea to maybe make this scream teacher a bit more is perhaps to have a similar floral pattern, but maybe it looks like it was like hand drawn with crayons. You might be able to use AI to accomplish that. Another thing popping out at me is if you go into custom name teacher shirts and you scroll through best sellers, you're going to find that the majority of them are large, one side printed shirts. So I think that the fact that she's got a pocket design and a back design adds a lot of value in one sense because it's a little different from what the other bestsellers look like. But at the same time, we also know that the majority of our bestsellers are just that one design on the front for a couple of reasons. It's probably a cheaper price point. Maybe that has something to do with it. And it's also just more recognizable, faster to see in search results that, oh, the teacher shirt and the design there, because you're not splitting the mock-up space with the pocket and the back. Now, I do think when you're doing a pocket and a back design, this is the way to go. You want it very clear because this is something that's growing on Etsy, and there are lots of bestsellers in general with a pocket design on the front and then a big design on the back. So definitely don't want anyone to be deterred from trying that. But if I were Ashlyn, I think I would consider also taking my design that I'm listing on a pocket and a back and also just listing it large on the front. Now, Ashlyn might be doing that. I didn't check her shop for that, but that's something that I'd be mindful of. Great work, Ashlyn. I know you're still adding to the teacher niche, and it's going to pay off. You just keep at it and keep me posted. Next, we're jumping into Kelly's submission, which happens to be another teacher shirt. Now, she positioned her shirt in a way that she's got a group mock-up in the front, and she's got pre-K, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, all positioned in this thumbnail so that an entire school could possibly come through and purchase from it. Now, I didn't jump into Kelly's shop to see if she also listed these each separately, but I will just take a moment to say that that is what I would suggest, which I think Kelly probably did do that because I've suggested that many times in the membership. If you know that you have done a really good job with your market research and you are pulling trends that are between 1 and 3 months old and incorporating them into your designs, you will be adding value to the market. And then, and only then, is it worth your time and effort to go ahead and scale these designs out from maybe pre-K, like Kelly has done here, all the way through, I think she did 5th grade. I have had great success in my own shop positioning the shirts as a collection like this. My SEO, my title and my tags is different from when I'm listing a single shirt because I'm saying things like school staff, matching staff shirts, and I'm also using a variety of grade level terms. So if you are scaling this out, it only takes you an extra minute to go ahead and set up a listing like this. I also always, and I do better with, so just so we're clear, I make more money with, more sales with, making sure that I've also listed these each as their own listing with their own set of SEO that's targeting that grade level. These will often sell to the entire grade level, by the way. So something really great about Kelly's design here is that it absolutely is recognizable as a teacher-focused design. You could kind of see right away, we've got things like apples and books, looks like a little brain there. So right away in search results, we know that it's a teacher-themed design. The use of the grade levels also obviously right away identifies it as a relevant listing for the teacher as well. You'll see if you look in search results at top selling teacher shirts, many teachers do like busy looking designs that are really colorful and bring together fun and trendy font choices and elements. Now, once again, we've got Kelly with this teacher design. Something for Kelly to keep in mind as I'm filming this in June is that it won't air till July, but as I'm filming this in June, something to keep in mind when you're looking at your designs, and you can apply this to whatever season you're in when you're listening to this video, is that if you are new to a niche, then before it peaks with shoppers, you're likely not to really get a lot of traction. That doesn't mean you should stop and just not bother to add to it. That means you should be adding to it very regularly so you can break in and have a really good chance when we start seeing those shoppers increasing, you have a really good chance of having something that's going to resonate and start selling. And then finally, in a group listing like this, I often only offer one color, but teachers do like to each person on the grade level wear a different color shirt. So maybe at school, I always would pick like the blue. I liked to wear blue, or I'd pick gray, and we'd wear matching shirts. And one of the other fourth grade teachers on my team, because I used to be a fourth grade teacher, maybe they're doing red and another teacher's doing yellow. So in the version of this listing where it's being listed separately, Kelly might consider adding some color options. She could even do it to this listing as well. Thank you, Kelly, for your submission. I hope you get so many teacher sales. Next up, we have Jessica's design here, and she is doing a dog mom shirt, which is another great niche. Huge niche, lots of dog moms out there. I did a quick Google search, and there are 65.1 million households that own at least one dog. So this makes owning a dog in the US very, very popular. Huge niche with a lot of shoppers. It's also a niche that has a lot of competition, and we're not afraid of competition. It's got a lot of competition because there are a lot of shoppers. We just have to find ways to stand out. And there's a couple things here that Jessica is nailing. First of all, she is providing personalization. So she's got established year on there right on the front, and then she also has sleeve print, which is very, very popular on a sweatshirt like this. She's got a really nice mock-up that looks very cozy, very natural, and in the style that does well. Her design is clean. Her font selection is easily read. She has the little paw print on there. She has the text that's large enough to quickly at a glance see that it's a dog mom, but then she also has a graphic that screams dog mom very quickly in search results. So what are some things that Jessica could do to get more traction with this listing, but not just this listing, just in general in the dog niche? I did pop into Jessica's shop, and I did see she had what I would consider around 24. It was a few more listings than that, but some of the designs were very close, like they looked very similar. So I would count them at around 24 unique designs that she's actually testing. Only, I think this one and maybe one other had personalization on it, which I think is going to be one of the key factors in being able to stand out in the dog mom niche, because it is such a competitive niche. Some ways to take an angle where you can actually dig in and make some sales is to niche down. Even though we have personalization here, which is really key and important, we are still very broad with the dog mom niche here, which is going to make it have a lot of competition in search results. And there's going to be a lot of similar designs to this one. It would be worth branching out here with the dog mom designs and maybe having Frenchie mom, rescue dog mom, Morkie mom, pit bull mom, and maybe target 10 types of dog moms, and then all of your designs, scale them out. You could target the dog mom in general, but then you could target with each of your designs. I'd pick 5 to 10. This is what I've done with teachers. This is what I've done with nurses. And it would be the same if I was attacking the dog niche. I would pick 5 to 10, and I would consistently hit those every time I was working in the dog mom niche, and I would take my design and target each of those. So then I wind up with this one design, but I'm going to list it between 5 and 10 times depending on how many types of dog moms I am trying to target. And when figuring out which ones you want to target, a good thing to do would be go look up what the most popular types of dogs are in the US or wherever you're selling, so that you can make sure you include those types of dogs in your stabs here. Jessica, you've got what it takes to dig into the dog mom niche, and I am wishing you so many cha-chings. Thank you for submitting this. Okay, next up we have Alex, and his listing, his design is super, super cute. It's got doodle vibes all over it, which is very, very trendy and very, very popular on Etsy right now. Also, I haven't seen a lot of designs popping up just like this, kind of creative. So he is adding value to the market. So he's wondering why he's not getting traction on this just yet. Well, first, it is less than a month old, this listing. So let's see what happens over time. But I think the biggest thing that could play a hand in this listing's life is the fact that when I popped into Alex's shop, I went to look to see how many other reading listings he had, and Alex, you only had one. So we're going to want to get on top of that right away. You want to make multiple stabs. If you only have one listing in a niche, and you're keeping your fingers crossed that this brilliant idea you had in this one niche is going to take off, it's just, you're so much more likely to have something take off when you do make consistent stabs there. And the fact that this was just there's two listings really. So he did two variations of this particular listing. Now, I think this listing's great, and I would love to see Alex do a whole batch of these. And I have ideas swimming in my head. I don't want to share them on YouTube. I'm sorry, YouTube, but I will be brainstorming a batch of these designs over in the membership so he can capitalize on his creative idea. If you're not familiar with the process of batching, I will leave a video linked up above, and I will also leave it linked down in the description. Batching is simply the process of creating 8 to 15 designs that look quite different from each other, that are all the same phrase that you were already working on, like the same idea. This is really a good practice to get into for numerous reasons. You want to feed your shop consistently in the niches that you want to be found in. So this will help you feed your shop with that niche in a very effective way in terms of your time, because you're capitalizing on all that research you've done for the SEO, all that research you've done for the phrase that you're going to be putting together, and now you're getting 8 to 15 designs out like that. You're also capitalizing on all of the new trends that are 1 to 3 months old. Now you have a chance to hit each of those trends, aka design styles. Different design styles are going to resonate with different customers in your niche. It's going to give you a better chance to stand out. Also, when someone clicks on your design, when they start scrolling down, Etsy wants to give you a chance to make that sale. So before they show anyone else anything from any other shops, they'll show more from your shop. This is your chance. That person, they clicked in there because they liked your design. In this case, reading design. Right after that section, more from this shop, Etsy overall wants to make sure that that shopper finds a reading shirt that they like. So then they'll show more things from other shops that that shopper might like. And it's going to be a bunch of reading stuff, because that's why they clicked into this original listing. Now, with the example here with Alex, when they get down to that section, you don't get to pick these things, by the way. The Etsy algorithm will pick them for you, and it's pretty good at doing that. But if you don't have other reading designs for them to pick, then it's going to be stuff filled there that doesn't have anything to do with why they clicked on your shop to begin with. So in this case, the shopper is going to see the two listings that Alex has, and then they're going to see other listings from other shops. And sadly, you drew their attention, pulled them into your shop, and then we didn't take advantage of this other opportunity. They're going to find something else that they like better, and they're going to be out of our shop. So I would suggest having at least 8 designs at the very, very minimum in your shop of that niche. This next one was submitted by Linda, and it is another teacher shirt because we are full swing back to school over here in June preparing our shops. Again, this will be airing on the channel in July, but it's being filmed in June. So let's talk about what's working really well. Linda's very talented. I've seen a lot of great things that she's produced, and this is no different. This is very much on trend. She's using a bold pattern. It's lemon plus blue florals inside of the word pre. It's very eye-catching. Love that she put it on the blue. It taps into the popular coastal themes, citrus themes, lemon themes, Italian tile, Amalfi core that's already been so trendy. I love the way she has this kind of trendy, big, bubbly font that she was able to fill in with this trendy pattern and then match that with a really pretty, whimsical script font underneath. She added personalization to the sleeve there with some lemons and Mrs. Davis. This just gives it premium feel and makes it super gift worthy. The mock-up she's choosing to use is a very trendy mock-up. It's in the right style and she has it framed properly with the design really being front and center and taking up a nice portion of that. There isn't really a whole lot I would do different here. And when I go into Linda's shop, she has a lot of teacher items that are available. So when someone clicks into this design, they are going to see other pre-kindergarten teacher designs to choose from down at the bottom when they scroll to the bottom before they get to that section where they're going to be out of your shop and see other things on Etsy. I know that she is adding consistently to the teacher niche over this period of time, and she's really going to have a chance to shine with her designs come July and August. So there's really nothing here that I can say, hey, Linda, I think you should be doing these things, because she's already doing the things. And so I can't wait to see how much growth she has when the spike for those shoppers starts, because Linda's still trying to dig into this niche, and this is going to be her chance to really shine. And she is putting in the elbow grease so that she can do so. Good job, Linda. Next up, we've got Danny. And Danny has this really cute This Girl Hunts design on her t-shirt. She's doing a lot of things right here. I love the color selection Danny chose here. I think it really goes with kind of what someone might be looking for with a hunting shirt, and the greens of her design and then like the sage color of the actual shirt. She also used this really feminine bow border, which has been very, very trendy just as of lately, that kind of borders around her design. So I love that she incorporated that. I love that her design, each of the letters has this really fun print inside. The gingham style has been very popular, and this kind of has gingham vibes with that kind of plaid green with the S there, and the greens kind of scream hunting to us. I also see what the N there has like a digital paper filling in the N with all kinds of different bows in this color scheme, which has been very trendy to play with digital paper and drop it into shapes. You can use Canva frames to accomplish that, in case you're wondering, and have this pattern that's just lots of bows. Very, very popular. And then I see the little graphic there with the birds flying. So I love the stab at this design. So what are some things that Danny could do to help herself really start getting into the hunting, that girl hunting niche, and to start standing out in the market and getting listings like this seen? I did dive into Danny's shop, and I did see 2 handfuls of designs that said, This Girl Hunts. And there were within these designs 2 layouts that Danny was using. This one here and one other layout that she's trying out. Now she repeated this style, and she just used kind of different digital papers to put on the inside of the word hunts. And then some of them had the bow border while others did not. But in all, they all looked very similar to each other. So this would be something that I would be building out in my own shop if this was a niche that I was really wanting to gain traction in. I would be trying other layouts out. I would be trying completely different looking designs out for my girl hunting niche. I'd also be trying different phrases out. Before you put anything on your shirt, always be sure to check uspto.gov to be sure that the phrase you want to use is not trademarked and that it's safe. So now going back to that tip that I mentioned earlier, when someone is landing into Danny's listing and they liked it enough to click in, and then they scroll down, they are going to see more from this shop from Danny. They're probably going to see designs that look very, very similar to this one, since she was only trying 2 design layouts out. So they are likely to see, just these 2 types of options. And there were a lot of this one specifically. And they're so similar, some of them, that at a glance, you don't really notice the difference. And so then right under that, they're going to see lots of variety in the hunting niche for girls. They might see pink camo stuff. They're going to see other phrases. They're going to see different layouts. They're going to see other graphics, like with a deer. Like that's really popular with the antlers and stuff in that niche. So just something to consider here, that you'd really want to build that out so that you have lots of different options. And then you have a chance just to grab that customer and get more views in general in your shop and have more interaction even with this listing. Like someone clicks into it, but then they're staying in your shop by clicking on another one of your listings. That is good for your shop. That is good for your listings. Etsy knows that you're keeping them entertained and interested when they're clicking on keywords for that niche that brought them to your listing. Now, going back specifically to this particular listing, there is something else that Danny could do. When mocking this up, I would have mocked it up a little bit more narrowed in, so I would have lost a little bit more of the model's waist. I would probably have lost the model's lips and maybe just to the chin, and just a little bit of the jeans would have been popping up for me. This is so that I can just get just a little bit closer to the design. You don't want to lose all of those background pieces. It's setting like a warmth to your listing when you can kind of see, it's paired with jeans, and you see the hair on the side of the shirt that's very trendy, and that sells a lot of shirts really well. So we want to keep those, but we could zoom in a little bit more. Also, the design itself, I would blow up. I have never, ever, not once, because I know everyone worries about this, and so did I when I first started, I have never, ever, not once had a customer complain, this design looked bigger on the shirt. I never have, honestly. So in the way I would have mocked this up is I would have blown that this girl hunts up, maybe even had to mask a little bit under the hair. That's how big I would have this. It would be probably almost double the size of what it is right now. And when I go over to Printify, that is a print shop that you can use to print your designs. They ship it, they fulfill it, they do all of it for you. You design it, they print it and ship it for you. And you can actually go over to Printify. You can select your shirt, download your design into Printify. You'll see a little dotted rectangle. That means that's your print space. So you don't want to blow it outside of that print space. It'll get cut off when Printify goes to print it for you. You want to keep it inside the print space, inside that little dotted rectangle. And I blow it up literally all the way from the left to the right. And then I usually move it up pretty close to the top of the rectangle. If in doubt, go look at the bestsellers. You're going to notice that the design itself usually takes up 50 to 75% of that mock-up image, where right now, Danny, you have this at, maybe it's like 20%, maybe 25% of this entire thumbnail is like the actual design. So again, if you are nervous about this, you can go over to Printify, put it in there, and then it'll spit out mock-ups for you, and you'll kind of see what it will look like. And that might make you feel better because it does get on there a pretty good size. I know the other thing people worry about is that they're going to put it in, it's going to be too wide. Like they're worried it's going to go over too much to the side. I have absolutely never had anyone complain to me that the design is over to the side. Printify has it set up pretty well so that if you use the entire print space all the way from the left to the right, it's going to be nicely on the front of their chest, and they're going to like the way that it's placed. Next up, we've got Karina. So Karina has this design here that is super duper cute. It's got that fun doodle style layout, visually engaging, feels like a scrapbook of wild memories. Perfect for group trips, bachelorette parties, or girls' weekends. If you did not know, the doodle trend is very, very much happening and should probably be a regular part of your stabs right now. If you are doing batching like I suggest doing, maybe 1 or 2 within your 8 to 15 design batch. Maybe 1 to 5 of them could be different doodle layouts. I love the red with the black lettering in the design that pops on top of the white shirt. With a design like this, a doodle design like this, you have an opportunity to study the market for girls' trips or Las Vegas trips specifically, in this example anyways, and you can apply this to whatever niche you're working in, and you have a chance for all these little spots to put text. And so each of those places is an opportunity for you to pull in something trendy that we know resonates with these particular customers. And Karina did not miss the boat on this. She did just that. She used phrases like feeling lucky, 2025, making poor decisions, high stakes and high heels. Love that one. Each one of these hits a different part of the Vegas trip mood, adventure, cocktails, glam, chaos, and you can find them already on other bestsellers. She also has that custom year call out, 2025, makes this relevant right now, a little bit of a personalized feel there. And I did already pop into Karina's shop and I took a peek. I saw lots of great girls trip designs. So I know she's regularly adding to that niche, which is super important if you really want to dig your way into a specific niche. And this is a great one, huge moneymaker. I saw Las Vegas options, and then I saw that she's also working out other options in her shop with some other sub niches under the bigger title, girls trip. Now let's talk specifically about some things that Karina might think about doing with this specific listing. When I hopped into her shop to take a look around, I was looking at her girls trip stuff and I was like, well, wait a second, where's her Las Vegas thing? And I kept writing Las Vegas in the little search bar for her shop to pull it up. And I was looking at her other Las Vegas options, a lot of super cute options. And I kept missing this specific one that we're looking at here today, the one that she's been kind enough to share with us and get some feedback on. And it's such a great design, yet in just the search results of her own shop, my eyes just kept missing it. And I was like, I looked 4 or 5 times, like, why is this design not here? Did she not put Las Vegas in the SEO? And then I went back to the original link she gave me. I was like, no, Las Vegas is there. And then I go back to her shop and I wasn't able to find it until finally I saw it and I realized what the problem was. It just got so lost in search results because it's a white shirt on a white background. And then when I'm looking in her shop, the background of Etsy is also white. And so she had some other options that were like on pepper and some other options that stood out more like that. And I was completely missing her super cute design. So something I might think about is, in this case, I would go back and tweak that first mock-up. She could keep it on the white shirt. The design looks great on a white shirt, but I would use a different mock-up that doesn't have a white background to it. That way it provides some contrast to the shirt and possibly some contrast to the overall Etsy background has. I'm big on not going back to old designs to tweak them. I call that the tweak and tweak loop. I try to get out of the tweak and tweak loop and I really try to focus on the next design. We have a member in the membership, her name's Karen, and she shared with me recently, she's into sports, and I don't remember the name of the coach, but when he was interviewed, he was asked, what's your best play? And this coach said, my next one. And we had a nice moment of reflecting on that, because what is your next best design? As an Etsy seller, we should be thinking our next one. We don't need to be looking in the rearview mirror, constantly tweaking on that merry-go-round of the tweak and tweak loop of trying to fix an old design or an old listing. But in this case, this design is so cute. It's so fresh. It's so on trend. I would take a second to go back and do this tweak. I would update my mock-up photo. And yes, even that first one, if your listing is doing well, don't touch your first mock-up photo, because that is going to mess with the ranking that you're receiving in the algorithm. But since she's not getting any traction on this listing just yet, it's fine to make some tweaks. Another opportunity I see for this design, it did take her a while to put all of those doodles together, so I would love to see her have it maybe available as back print and then maybe a pocket design. And maybe the pocket design maybe niches it down a little further, like maybe it's a bachelorette trip. And so the pocket design niches it down to that. Or perhaps it's a birthday trip and the pocket design could also niche it down that way as well. Okay, I think we had so much value in that one. If you are enjoying this video, I do want to make this a series, but it depends on how much engagement I'm getting on this video, because that lets me know if you guys are liking this kind of content. So take a quick second. If you were going to like any video of mine, if you enjoyed this so far, you need to go like this one, so that I know to continue making videos like this. I'm sure my membership would love that, because they're getting lots of great feedback on their specific designs. Also, you don't want to miss any future content, so also take a second to subscribe, and you might want to make sure you ring that notifications bell so you know when our videos are premiering. I'm always live in the chat, and we have a lot of great energy in that chat and a lot of people participating in it, and we'd love to have you there too. All right, we've got a couple more to dig into, and I don't want to overwhelm you with tasks, but I really appreciate my members letting us learn from them like this. I think this is so valuable. So if you could take a second to just go down into the comments and thank them. They are the stars of today's YouTube video, and it is kind of scary to go out on a limb and show your designs on YouTube. So let's make them feel really, really appreciated. If you could do that for me, I'd be super thankful. And here we have Emily G's design. We're going to be looking at two different Emilys today. So we'll say this is Emily G. Emily has this cruise design, and the cruise niche is fantastic. So great family vacation type of niche, could be very, very profitable. And you can make one design that winds up being sold to an entire group. So there's some things that Emily is doing so right here. First of all, she's using a mock-up that's super trendy on Etsy right now. This green comfort colors mock-up specifically has many bestsellers from different shops selling on it. So that's a win. We also have the fact that she is offering customization. So Smith Family Cruise 2025. So we've got the name of the family and the year there. That's a huge bonus. She's got the design nice and blown up here, just about as big as it can go without, going off of the mock-up itself and not being seen. Now, some things to keep in mind, and I've already looked in Emily's shop. I see that she's making regular stabs at the cruise niche, which would absolutely be needed if you want to get into that niche, and really any niche. But obviously, cruise niche is a big one. It's got a lot of competition. That's okay. You could still get in it. I promise you that. There's space for you. There really is. And so she is doing the right thing. She's adding lots of different designs to her shop in this niche. Now, this design specifically is targeting a family. We could tell that from the design because it says Smith Family Cruise 2025. And when I looked at her SEO, her title and her tags, I could see she's targeting a family for matching shirts. She included youth sizes. She had a couple of colors in there, which is really nice. And so that means that really both men and women are going to be wearing this design. And I target families a lot also with my designs. And what I have found is when I add hearts to things that men have to wear, they don't usually like it. So I've done this over and over again also, but there are a couple of hearts within this design. And so when the guys are checking off, usually the guy is going to have a couple of options, and they're usually going to veto the ones with hearts on it. So that's what I have found in my own shop. So moving forward, Emily might want to consider family types of designs not having a heart, where the guy actually has to wear a heart on his shirt. The other thing here that's kind of feminine about this design is that it's a very kind of girly text. And so I've noticed that sometimes I can put maybe one phrase or like 2 words or something in a girlier text, but I can't have it be the prominent text on the shirt if men and women are expected to wear it. That kind of just girls it up a little bit. So these are things to kind of consider when you are designing something for females and for males. But for the record, I know Emily's watching this video. Emily, I did look into your shop and I did see lots of options that nailed it as far as both men and women wanting to wear it. So keep on. This niche is worth the effort that it will take to dig into it. Next, we have Emily L, and let's take a look at her design. What a great design. This is a really classic style that's been like the sketch style that's been really popular. Super sweet phrase here, just a girl and her healer. I did pop into Emily's shop and I saw that she scaled this out a little bit and she put the different types of dogs here. She scaled it out to like 7 or 8 different types of dogs, and she used graphics to target that type of dog mom, and she also used her SEO to make sure she was targeting that type of dog mom. She sprinkles some 4-point stars here, which are super trendy. She has the Western aesthetic, which is also another really trendy thing that shoppers on Etsy love. And the hearts there, it's kind of hard to see. It says since 2023. So she's also got some personalization available there. So let's talk about a couple of things that Emily might consider for her next stabs with this. Something super small, since 2023. It's really hard to see that from search results. So I actually had to like pinch out and go in to see what that said. You don't really want text that small unless you're doing like a doodle type of design and you've got a couple pieces of text that might be that small. So this is something I'd probably drop somewhere else into the design where I could blow it up a little bit bigger, or I might take it off altogether and just have and her healer be a bit larger. Next, I did go over and do a search specifically for this phrase, just a dog and her healer. And there weren't any other bestsellers like this, and I'm also not seeing any search volume for that specific phrase. So that's okay. It's just something to consider though. Now, when I take stabs like that, it can be a way to really stand out in the market because it is a really sweet phrase, but you're trying something that's not proven. And that's totally okay. Just bringing it up and making sure that we understand that this is going to be like 20% of our stabs, while 80% is going to be on something more tried and true. So for example, when Emily goes to do her next batch of dog mom style types of shirts, instead of using this phrase, just a girl and her healer, she could use phrases that are already doing well in the dog mom niche. So for example, I saw just a girl and her dog. Do check uspto.gov. I'm just mentioning what I saw. I did not check that yet, but there were other phrases that already had bestsellers on them. So we know that those are phrases that are resonating with the customers already. And then Emily could give those phrases a new trendy look. She can borrow from other niches that she's studying and that have bestsellers on them and bring those looks, those layouts, those color schemes, those vibes over to her dog mom shirt that has the trending phrase from the dog mom niche. One other thing to note here is I probably would close in just a little bit more on my mock-up if I were Emily, because the actual design is probably taking up maybe 30% of the space here. I don't want to lose the model's complete chin, but I might lose a little bit of the bottom there. I still want to see at least a little side of the jeans, so I wouldn't close in too much, but I would tighten up just a little bit in there so that the design becomes a little bit bigger. I would also blow the design up itself so that it really reaches further out from the left to the right of the shirt. And just a reminder, over in Printify, when I'm dropping that onto my shirt to sync it up, I would also be blowing that out to take up the entire printable space that I have available to me over in Printify. This video should be coming to you in mid to late July. That means that in our online community, which I will leave linked down below, we are full swing into our Halloween challenge. Completely for free, I will leave a link down below to that Halloween challenge, a document with all of the prompts that we're doing. Feel free to join us over in the membership if you'd like video prompts and some accountability to go with that challenge. Next month, I'll be hosting a Christmas challenge right here on the channel. Again, if you want that accountability piece and you want weekly meetings to go along with that, that'll be over in the community, and we'd love to have you there with us. Also to look forward to, and it will be exclusive to the Learn and Earn Academy, we will be doing an additional Christmas challenge, which will be a family-specific type group listing Christmas challenge. I am planning on hosting that come August 5th, maybe August 8th, but early August. Guys, it is absolutely time to prepare for Q4. So I'll also leave a calendar and resource that I did create that helps you get prepared for Q4. It is the biggest money-making season here on Etsy. I myself, my very biggest profit month to date is $38,000 and change during the month of November. Now, I didn't start preparing that year in September for Q4. I was preparing in July and in August so that I could have a killer Q4. There are plenty of free resources and free YouTube videos, and of course the free challenge that I'll be doing and that free document for the Halloween challenge down below. But if you are looking for more guided help, more accountability, and deeper dives into these challenges, I will also leave that community link down below. And as a matter of fact, I will leave the video that I think will help prepare you best for Q4 linked right at the end of this video. Pro tip here, if you don't actually click on that video, YouTube will bring you into whatever random video is next. It could be by any content creator. So if you want to actually watch the video I'm leaving for you, you do need to actively click on it. But of course, don't click on that until after that tip from Tucker. Tucker, take it away.